Lerato ke maikutlo a phepa, ha le tsebe kgaolo, ha le tsebe morabe, puo, moetlo kapa bodumedi, ha le bone botona kapa botshehadi.
Goeiedag Suid-Afrika. My naam is Rian Visman en baie welkom hier by Talk SA. Suid-Afrika is een van die eerste lande wat gay regte in hulle grondwet vervat het. En hierdie klousule dien as 'n beskermingsmaatstaf teen enige vorm van diskriminasie op grond van seksuele oriëntasie. Dis dieselfde demokratiese konstitusie wat ruimte gelaat het vir gay huwelike om plaas te vind. So met Kaapstad, wat beskou word as die gay hoofstad, of 'n tweede San Francisco, kom ons gaan vind uit wat dit beteken om 'n trotse, swart, Suid-Afrikaanse gay persoon te wees.
Kajeno ho Talk SA, re bua le LGBTI community ya mona Afrika Borwa. Re thola ho tswa ho bona hore ke bothata bofe bo ba kopanang le bona mona naheng ya Rainbow Nation, le hore re fihlelletse eng ho amohela batho ba rona mona naheng ya rona.
So we are like them, we are not different than them.
Ons kuier nou hier by Funeka Soldaat van die Free Gender organisasie en sy gaan met ons 'n bietjie deel wat dit is om 'n trotse Suid-Afrikaanse swart gay persoon te wees. So kom ons gesels met haar en kom ons vind uit wat dit regtig beteken. Funeka, it is really nice to meet you.
Thank you.
And Funeka Soldaat, where does she come from? Where do you reside from? Where's your origin?
Yeah, I think I'm coming from the Eastern Cape. I grew up in a very small village.
When did you end up in Cape Town?
I arrived in Cape Town in the 90s. After I've been having trouble with police at my place, when my community found out that there was something fishy, and for me to be a little bit safe, and then I decided to move to go to George first on the Southern Cape to my mom, and then from then I came to Cape Town.
So when you arrived in Cape Town, Free Gender, did you immediately start with Free Gender?
We started Free Gender in 2008 as a group, and then it was the first time when a young lesbian called Zoliswa Nongonyana was killed in Kailicha. So we mobilized people around the case. Free Gender as a group, not necessarily as a black lesbian organization, because people who were in the group were both activists, both the heterosexual and the homosexual activists. So it's when we started Free Gender. But in 2010, we started then the organization as a black lesbian organization.
How do people perceive your organization, especially black lesbians in your community?
It was a risk that we were to take, because there were two things that we know were going to happen. Keeping quiet, we're going to be killed anyway. To say something, we're in a risk of being killed anyway. So what choice do we have? So the only choice that we have is to speak, in order that if you speak, you're being killed. And then you can die, but the message will always be there. So whereas people were not comfortable about the organization, but we didn't have a choice. We're supposed really to say, you may not like us, you may not accept us, but at the end of the day, you don't have to kill us. Just leave us alone. Here, I think this some of the young lesbians that they lost their lives. I think the first one was in 2006. This is Zoliswa. I think a case has taken around 6 years to be finalized in Kailicha court. I think it was when the magistrate make it clear that Zoliswa was killed because of a sexual orientation by the boys. And then this is Pumeza, very young lesbian. I think that's a grandmother there. He was killed. He was killed at home. She was at home with her grandmother in the evening, and they shot her 3 times. For me, that was so strange. You can see the hatred. I mean, a young little girl, then you can shoot that person with 3 bullets. That's really how hatred people are. So these are some of the things that really keep us on going, and hoping that in future we'll never hear any other killings of lesbians again. Hope so.
Funeka, now what is the main objective of Free Gender?
The vision of Free Gender is to make sure that lesbians are free in the society, and that the community understand homosexuality without any prejudice.
Being gay, being lesbian is un-African, apparently.
The question is always for me, what does it mean to be African and not to be an African? Because I mean, for me, corruption is an African, and for me, to have food on your own table and other people don't have food, that's very un-African. That's what I understand. So I don't know what does it mean, an-African.
Do you consider yourself as a proudly South African black lesbian woman?
Yes, I am. Yeah, yes, I am. I always make sure people know I'm not scared of being myself. Even being scared, it's not a physical thing. It's an emotional thing. I'm not scared to be me. But yeah, you can be scared physically because you don't know the stupid somewhere after the meeting what will happen.
Exactly.
But it's not. We don't allow really the fear that they have to control our lives. I mean, we know you are going to be hurt, but don't have to control your activism. You die, your message continues.
Kamora papatso, re ya gugulethu ho tjhakela Ithembalam, moo bulelwa sebetsang le batho ba LGBTI motseng wa habo. Mme re qoqele AB Petersen ho bona hore mekgatlo ya bodumedi e meng e shebana jwang le homosexuality.
Daar is vordering ook gemaak. So daar is beweging aan die gang.
Ons is nou op pad na die oorspronklike veiligheidshawe vir die LGBTI community, Ithembalam, wat in 1995-96 deur Bulelwa Panda gestig is. So kom saam met my en kom ontmoet die fantastiese vrou. Bulelwa. Yeah. And here we are in front of your spot that you've created. You've created a safe spot for the LGBTI community. Why?
As you know, that we are living in the township, Rian, and there's a hate crime that is happening. Yes. And then people couldn't sit where they're supposed to. And then we felt comfortable when we are one in our own community. So that's when I created this place, so that people can come into my house and make them theirs. So that's how we started it.
The community, what was the response of the community towards, your space? And people coming in and stay there?
At first, they didn't like the idea. They thought that we were coming here to change their children to be gay and lesbian. But we needed to blend in. That's when we helped with the funeral, with the children who needed clothes to wear from school. And then we opened up a soup kitchen so that people can come and dish up.
All right.
Yes.
So you then started also inviting the community in.
Yes.
And say be part.
Be part of us and then try to understand who we are.
And in terms of the progress, the understanding of it?
At where we're staying right now, I would say the community understand it because we've moved from the bungalow, we've bought a house, which is a shelter.
Okay.
I'll show you right now.
Please take me there.
I'll do that.
So from 2005,
yeah.
Then how did it move to Ithembalam now?
Because then I was working for IM, and then I took up the suggestion to my bosses, and then I started to share that with them that there is a need of LGBTI in the township where they could meet because they don't have a place. And then they came to my house, and then they saw that people were sleeping same bed, 10 of us. And then they started the idea that, okay, look out for the house. A small house will make it big, will make it a shelter for the people to come and stay in.
Bulewa, the biggest challenges that you had to face in this community, what was it?
The biggest challenge was to blend in,
Okay.
to try to prove to people that who we are, why do we want to open the center here. That was the biggest challenge, because the minute that you're a heterosexual person, you come through that gate, they think that you're gay. So we needed to take that stereotype out of people that we can be friends, although you're heterosexual, but you'll never be gay. So we needed to prove to what they think they know about homosexuals that is not true at all.
How was the family, your family, at that time?
My parents, they're no longer alive now. They're both dead. At first, it was a hard thing to accept because of the community. You are being rejected by the community if your child is gay. So that's when I started to move out at my parents' house, the minute that I got a job, so that I can give them their space to breathe because their community is being judging them. So at first, they didn't understand it. But I was lucky through their dying days. That's when they started to accept me as the person that I am. With my siblings, we don't get along. So, but with that one, I don't have a problem with it because I haven't done nothing wrong. And then I've moved on with life. I'm creating my own family. I've got a partner, we've got 2 children, boy and a girl. So that's my life now.
Nabulelwa, physically, hands-on, what are you involved in?
We're giving people, as I said, a place to stay.
Okay.
And then we communicate with their parents because before we take you in, there's a form that you need to fill in. Who's responsible at home? Who can we negotiate with at home so that we can build the relationship between you and your parents or your other families? We don't want to split you and then just say, you are gay, go and live your life, and then leave your family apart. So we just put together the child and the parent or the siblings, whoever that is there, who's willing to come into negotiations. But even then, this is not a B&B. We are here to equip you so that you'll be strong and then you'll be able to move on with life.
If you would like to maybe ask communities, people out there, because looking at you, listening to your story, knowing that you gave up your own personal space, even it impacted even on your personal family, what did you want the communities out there to do for the LGBTI community?
I would say to accept us, to know that we're a human being, we've got dreams, and as I've said it, I've got a partner that we want to build a family together. So we are like them, we're not different than them.
What makes you proud to be a black lesbian South African woman?
Because of me. I stood up and I'm not depending to anyone. I prove it to people that I'm a survivor. I can have a home. I can have a partner. I can have children. I can have what the heterosexual people are having. So that's me. It's the greatest joy that I have.
To be a human being.
To be a human being and be alive.
Thank you so much.
No problem.
AB Peterse o qetile dithuto tsa hae tsa bodumedi ka makgethe University ya Stellenbosch. Empa a hanyetswa ho ba le license le ho ba moruti ka makgetlo a mabedi ka baka la sexuality ya hae. Re bua le yena ka tshokolo ya hae le hore na dikireke le constitution ya rona di le qhepeng le le leng na.
Lekker om jou te sien, man. You look nice.
Dankie. Kom eens gaan gesels binne en praat eens 'n bietjie net
Sure, heeltemal.
By die afgelope paar jare was daar 'n groot debakel rondom jou legitimasie in die VGK kerk. En dit rondom jou seksuele oriëntasie. Wat is die stand van sake vandag?
Weet jy, Rian, as ek vir jou prontuit vinnig antwoord moet gee, dan sal ek sê, daar is nie 'n stand van sake nie, dit hang nog net die altyd. Want waar die kerk op hierdie stadium is, alvordering wat ons gehad het, is dat ons begin gesels het, maar daar is nog nie 'n uitsluitsel gekry oor wat die stand van sake is rondom legitimasie nie.
Jy is toe nie gelegitimeer nie. Hoekom is jy nie gelegitimeer nie?
Omdat ek reg na die kerk toe gekom het en vir hulle gesê het, dit is wie ek is. Hier staan 'n homoseksuele Christen jongman voor julle wat afgestudeer is in teologie en die antwoord van die kerkleiers was dat die kerk is nog nie reg vir 'n gay predikant nie.
Hoe voel jy vandag oor dit met ons konstitusie in ons land wat ons toelaat om met dieselfde geslag te trou?
Is mixed feelings. Aan die een kant is ek baie ontsteld met die kerk omdat hulle so 'n antwoord gee en nie iets konkreet begin doen om 'n antwoord te gee nie, whether dit nou negatief of positief is, dan moet 'n antwoord wees. Die tweede een is voel ek maar daar is vordering ook gemaak. So daar is beweging aan die gang. Dalk vir die kerk net 'n bietjie stadiger om opgecharged te word, maar ek is hoopvol vir die kerk en ek is hoopvol vir ons land en ons konstitusie waar ons is, wat ons doen, waar ons beweeg en waar ons na toe is of waar ons is vandag in 2015 kan ek 'n groeiproses sien en ek is hoopvol vir die groei wat nog vorentoe gaan gebeur.
Staan die kerk op dieselfde blad of platform as ons land en ons regering van ons land ten opsigte van die konstitusie?
Nee,
Hoekom sê jy so?
want die konstitusie, ek persoonlik Rian dink ek die konstitusie is meer inklusief teenoor wat die kerk is. As ek nou 'n bietjie verder kan uitbrei, dan gaan dit wees oor die kerk sê yes, we are including the other. Ons sluit jou in, ja, but there's a different sense wat ek voel die kerk uitlaat and that's that sense of belonging. So you might feel inclusive in this whole church thingy and the process, but you still do not feel as if you belong there. And that's the difference between the church en waar ons land vandag is.
Ka mora papatso re kopana le bahlankana ba ratanang ba le babedi ba thotseng lerato la nnete. Re qoqa le bona ka bokamoso ba bona mmoho le hore ke mokete ofo moholo ba ntseng ba o nahanela.
We're not apologetic about being gay and African and so forth.
Ons gesels nou met 'n jong gay paartjie, Arnold en Sandile van Gugulethu. En ons kom hoor by hulle, hoe voel hulle om swart, gay en trots Suid-Afrikaans te wees? So kom ons hoor wat is hulle storie. Arnold, Sandile, lekker om julle te ontmoet.
Thank you, Rian, for having us. Yes, like you said, my name is Arnold, and I am proudly gay. I'm originally from the Free State in Virginia, and that is where my mom lives, and my dad is in Tennyson, and yes, that's me.
Yeah, great to meet you as well, Rian. As you say, that's Sandila as well, and I'm originally from KZN as well. And my parents are based there, and I came here to Cape Town to work.
Here you are, Gugulethu. You're a gay couple. You guys then decided we meet. Tell me about the meeting.
So,
Well, I remember I had a conference here in Cape Town, and I was staying at the hotel, and apparently he knew one of my colleagues, one of the funders, and we had dinner once, and he came to the hotel, and that's when we met, and we kind of fell in love.
I believe in love at first sight.
How many years ago did this start?
This is 2 years now. I'm going 2.5.
All right.
2.5 years, yes. And we have decided we want to get married. So we have spoken to our parents, and both of them are happy. And we are now having this dilemma about the lobola. Because traditionally, I remember Sandile, his mom asked us, so who's going to pay lobola? And, and we had this conversation about, but this is supposed to be so who's the bride and who's no, there are no bride, it's two grooms.
It's 2 grooms.
Yeah, and how the dilemma is to,
Who's gonna wear a dress?
yeah.
Lobola plays a big role in the African culture. Now with you two saying that there's a dilemma, what is the common ground that you guys will find with your parents then for this paying of the lobola?
So what we decided to do, we're gonna exchange gifts. So I'm gonna give gifts to his family and extended family, like buying blankets for them and a couple of outfits maybe for the guys, and he would do the same for my family as well. So we exchange gifts.
So obviously you guys are now in planning mode with this whole engagement with family, friends. Planning. Tell me about the planning of this wedding, because that's 2 grooms. I mean, I'm not married, but I would like to know, these African men, how are you going to get married?
I think the gender conversation is going to be a big one now, because if you think in a traditional African setting, even the way the ceremony works, it is gendered. The men are this side, the women are this side. It is a completely new thing now, because I mean, I know for me, I'm not feeling for the, we must separate, and because Sandile is not a girl, neither am I a girl. We both are, we identify as men. So even the way, it's going to be interesting how the food is prepared, for example, because there's a big cultural thing around how food is prepared, how men eat around, Now you're thinking of the cultural diversity, because we want LGBTI people present. The transgender people must be there, intersex people, lesbians, and if a lesbian feels that she's a man, she needs to be sitting around that fire, whatever. I think this is that opportunity where all that now must take place. I think this is something we're probably going to rely. And I believe that there is wisdom in the community. The elders still need to sit down and discuss this, because there is no blueprint for us. There's nothing in a rule book to say gay weddings are supposed to be like this, and this is a tick list, and this is the bride, he needs to be fetched this way, and so I think we're going to make it up as we go along and trust the collective wisdom of whoever's part of this engagement to shape the new, Yeah.
In 2015, you guys are on your way to getting married. So clearly there's some sort of pride that you have. What makes you proud to be black and gay in our South Africa?
I think for me, I'm proud of the bold step also that we took together as a couple to share our love with other people and our community and our parents, and hopefully inspire others to be bold and to step out of whatever darkness or closet they're in, and and hopefully help our communities and our society to embrace each individual as they are, and the person as who they are, and regardless who they love, and
Dis duidelik dat die LGBTI-gemeenskap 'n harde pad geloop het tot dusver. En ek glo dat daar nog baie is om gedoen te word. So Suid-Afrika, kom ons vat hande en omarm ons diverse gemeenskap. Van my Rian Visman uit Kaapstad. Totsiens.